Man, boy. Woo, shit. We had a ball game today. You good, Freddie?
Yeah, I'm good.
Outside of winning, right? I really only have like one thing that I'm really, really upset about. On 2nd and 1, on the goal line, get a ball to the goddamn fullback, man. Come on, man.
Hey,
Come
man,
on, white man.
every time we
Gotta help.
use the fullback on the goal line, we have success. So, yeah, I'm right there with you. I don't know why we didn't utilize him in that
Mike,
situation. I don't know, man.
Mike, you know, bro. I was in the Champions Club, man. I'm in good shape now. I was running over, like, the steps by where the weight room is that go all the way up to the varsity club. Man,
Yeah,
I almost died. I almost died. I ain't gonna lie. When I got up to that top, I was like, man, I done
getting that
came.
breath back.
If y'all don't know about the shoot, we got people coming up and down, right? And that's 4 flights of steps. And the police didn't want to let me have people give me rides. So I'm like, hey man, I just came out the hospital from COVID. You gotta help me. I'm gonna have a heart attack. So I was able to. Hey man, listen, dog. We got football going, man. Like if you don't like that game, I get it. We lost, man. I'm mad. I'm mad about the loss. But man, now if you can't fix your lips and say that was a hell of a football game, man, I don't know what's wrong with you. I mean, even whether you like White Mike, whether you don't like White Mike, whether you think Milton should have been the starter the whole time, whether you think Jay Trav should have been the starter the whole time, man, that was a fucking ball game, bro. Ball game, dog.
Man, and that's what we've been asking for, man. We talked earlier this week about whether or not the defense would step up, and when we see some of the play that we saw of old early on, I saw from our front line, they were getting pushed. They was making the hell on Notre Dame, and that caught my eye early. We did struggle offensively a little bit, but I feel like later in the game we found a rhythm and it worked off the running game. But man, one thing I saw in this team that I didn't see last year, we go down. The team last year quit. This team went
Mm-hmm.
down three scores, and they responded and made this a game, man. Like you can't even be mad
Piggyback,
at that.
they went down twice though.
Hmm.
Notre Dame scores first drive. We go and hit them, and then they score again. It's just that normally we in that spot, we folded. But them boys gritted their teeth, and it was cats that a lot of fans were off that were young, but was playing like Kalen DeLoach. Kalen DeLoach made some. Kalen DeLoach spilled the guard, I think the blocker, and then made the tackle. I was like, yo, look at my dog Kalen, because Kalen ain't what 220. That takes
He
some
looked
grit,
good.
man. I mean, Kalen got, Papa DeLoach brought some neck bones to the tailgate. I know that neck bone play. That's a play where you just have bones, rice, and some cornbread. And when your mama made all of that, you came over there and did what he needed to do. Who that is, Rich Nina? Oh,
Man,
okay.
I'm excited to see him. He was one of the guys I felt like shine tonight, man. Just seeing his range and the effort that he was playing with all night. Kept responding, and that's one thing over the years we struggle with, especially with our linebacker core. So seeing him play the way that he played tonight, man, it only goes up from here. And I'm excited to see how he grows and how the rest of the team grows. Of course, we got a lot of different mistakes that we made throughout the game that you can't make in those big games, but
Mm-hmm.
everything is correctable. Those guys are gonna look back at the film, and the same way I was watching the game, that was our game to win. They're gonna look back at that film and feel like that was the game they were supposed to win, and it's gonna motivate them throughout the season. And I think going in, everybody we hear all the chatter, but you got a Florida State team that feels like they can play with anybody right now after that game. They just let a few plays that didn't go their way get them. I think right now we got a squad that's going to be motivated.
Without a doubt, there's not a team on their schedule or up as of right now, up until they play Clemson. that's as good as that Notre Dame team we played. When you look at what Notre Dame had, they had two really good tight ends. One's going to probably be a top pick. You got their running back was highly touted, and they held the running game to 65 total rushing yards. At one point, it was 100. I think it was 157-3 was the run total differential. You typically don't lose those type of games when you have those kind of things. But there was some times where the offense slack, where the defense, probably like again. So a lot of people at 3rd and 17, a lot of people got mad about it, right? And rightfully so, because we should convert those. But what I saw was boys in position to make plays, they just didn't make the play. And for years, we've been sitting here talking about, man, third and Coach Kelly plays so conservative on 3rd down and long and blah, blah, blah. Well, shit. Well, now we went after him. You can't have it both ways, man. You can't have it both ways. Now, let's go into, because this is an instant reaction show, guys. This is just how we feel coming off of the game with some of the emotion. I'm up in the champion. The Champions Club gives you end zone view. So you know me, I'm really watching the run game. I got the end zone. I got the end zone view, so I'm seeing like we're still. Oh God, if I got a chance to like listen, Corbin, if somebody sends this to you and you want to, I can't give you a really, really good 5th quarter deal, but I don't want to step on Yak toes because Yak, my guy, he an old school player. But like, dog, I just want to get you film and I want you to see some of the stuff. And like, I want the offensive line, like they had a time when they had 2 pullers, which again, people say we lack the power game. But when you pull in 2 linemen, I'm sorry to tell you, that's power run game. It's just in the gun. But the one guy kicked it out well. The guard didn't wrap around up to the linebacker, and the linebacker was shot the gap and was the one who made the play. He wraps around and he's able to get that linebacker, and you got to crease his house. It's just seeing stuff like that. It's like you can fix that. It's when, man, what the fuck is going on? Is when you're just like, yo, this is frustrating. But to see things that you can fix, like you can literally just be like, hey man, if you just do this, that's big. Now, and some of it's some confidence stuff. They got to get Jordan Travis in there, and this probably ain't the time to cut Trap out. It's probably the time, not Travis J, excuse me. This ain't cut Travis J out. It's probably time to build him up a little bit, give him some confidence. But I mean, shit. Let's go through offense. Good, bad, and not so bad.
Okay. Yeah, I think early on we were able, after a few drives, after we stalled out a few times, getting that run game going. And that's what we moved off of that run game the whole entire game. You seeing guys like you said, Corbin, Trayshawn Ward, Tua Philly, all those guys making noise in the run game, and it seemed like they continued to get stronger as the game went on. And that's something that you can only be happy about. I love to see that, and it opened up the read option, to play the RPOs off of that. That's one thing. But offensively, I say our O line, we got to give our QBs more time. And the biggest nitpicking thing, although I see as the game went on, we played a little better. Them snaps, man, the moments in the big games that cost us. You talking about at the end of the game, you got a chance to take a lead and you give them a bad snap. We may not even be in the situation where we got to kick in overtime. I feel like we go down on that drive the way we're rolling, and that's our game to win. Milton was rolling, defense was fired up. I think we pull out a win in that situation. So the small things, even when guys get tired, I've seen as we continue to go on, the snaps just getting wide. So that's something that they got to look at on film, because ultimately a lot of different things happen over the course of the game, but you can't have those in those moments. The details matter. So every single play, whatever your coach is teaching you with your snap, you gotta keep that in your mind every single play. And I think the guy lost sight of that as we went on in the game. But it's a lot to be positive about after this game.
Tons. Offensively, my good is Trayshawn Ward and Josh Corbin. As I still want to critique some of the runs and some of the holes they missed, but at the same time, those young bulls ran really, really hard, did what they needed to do. One of the things that they teach you at running back, or I teach my running backs too, and something Billy Sexton said, you got the guys that are blocked, and then there's your guy. Your job is to either make that guy miss or you got to run that guy over. And sometimes it's the guy in the hole. Sometimes man on the edge that we just don't have anybody for. And they just got a good defense call, and they consistently made guys miss and made some big plays. Trayshawn Ward is a guy that I saw in the spring. Shout out to my boy Jason Roberts, coach at Tampa Bay Tech. That's his guy. He was telling me about him and how special he could be when he was in high school. He was supposed to go to Maryland. Scholarship got pulled, and he took his chances with Tag and walked on to Florida State. And, he's a major contributor. And what I told a lot of people in the offseason is that really the reality of the situation is this: is once you get an opportunity to be in that seg, all the stars, everything else, who's scholarship, who's not, get thrown out the window. Is who can play and who can't play. And yeah, there's some things where a coach might give a certain kid a little bit more leeway than you, but at the end of the day, like my mama say, be so good they can't deny you. And that's I think that's the mindset that Trayshawn Ward takes. Keyshawn Hilton made some big plays. Parchment, showed up and made some decent things. The bad, I'm going to call it situational awareness on the entire offense. Again, we joke about 2nd and 1, not really having a true power thing. And Mike Norvell at Memphis had a system had to play with his fullback. Even if you're not handing it to the fullback, literally you can go power out a pistol. You can go out a pistol. Basically, bring a tight end, and you can force them. You can put them to the strength, or you can put them to the weak, and then just basically just power run game. You know what's coming? It's man ball on that situation. Also going for it again. I get it, your defense wasn't really stopping anything, but going for it inside your own 50 and giving them a short field in which they converted does not help, and is not conducive to building confidence into your defense as well. So though that's another that's a bad. And the ugly and is they got to figure out the situation, what they want to do at quarterback. So I get it. Jordan Travis looks phenomenal in practice, exponentially better than all of them in practice. McKenzie Milton, it doesn't mean McKenzie Milton looked bad. It just means Trav was consistently better. McKenzie still has, obviously, there's some things going. You could see when he had the chance to break, he couldn't break it. He stumbled and fell. When the speed of the game is that fast, and Notre Dame has a fast defense. But you got to pick one. If you got 2 quarterbacks, you got none, is what they say. And as my high school coach said, you got to pick the lady you want, and you got to dance with her. You can't dance with every woman in the club, because you eventually not gonna leave with none. So you got to pick which one you want to roll with, and then you got to go with it. And then that next guy got to continue to be up, because the one thing that I also kind of wanted to put in the good category is that when a quarterback went down, you had a capable person to go in that struck fear into the defense. Because if you look at what that coordinator did over, I think McKenzie had 4 or 5 drives. Don't quote me on that. But the first 2 drives were really good. The second drive, I think we got the field goal. That's when they brought the pressure on him. They didn't bring any pressure on the first 2 as they were trying to figure out what McKenzie did or what he brought to the table and what he didn't do. And if you watch NFL or you watch college, when you knock out a quarterback, the first thing that most defenses do is immediately get conservative. And they were driving and had good momentum. So, but the fact that you were your quarterback got knocked out and you were able to put somebody in who was actually pretty damn good and did some stuff, that was dope. And I think, like you said, overall, as a team, just not giving up into adversity and facing it. And at the end of the day, the standard is the standard, and the standard is winning championships. But one thing I can say is, in that defeat, it looked like we weren't far off from the standard, because we had some damn good Florida State football teams lose to Notre Dame in the past.
Without a doubt, and that's something that we talked about all week. You see, we went out there with a sense of urgency, a sense of pride. But like you said, the standard is the standard. These guys should go into every game feeling like they got an opportunity to win. The pride is cute, but they have pride. They have pride at schools like Wake Forest and stuff like that. Florida State, we go out and we expect to win. And we were in a situation in this game where we had a chance to win. It's just like you said, the small things in the game that killed us over the course. It wasn't one play. It was a combination of plays over time that got us in a situation where we didn't pull out the ball game. But a lot to build off of.
Defensively, it's hard to say the defense played well in a game like that, but the truth of the matter is it didn't play bad. So I mean, what are the good, the bad, and not so bad takeaways you got from the defense?
Man, good. We saw what they got to push up front, and we saw a pass rush. We haven't seen that in a while. We were able to put pressure on those guys early and make them uncomfortable. And they had a lot of young guys. We made them uncomfortable earlier. My issue was the open field tackling. We had guys that had great leverage on players, overrunning plays, and not understanding positioning and using the sideline as an extra defender. And that's something that we gotta work on. The ugly, I'm trying to think. The ugly, I would say, just responding to adversity, and also one thing I seen from this defense is when we got up on them, I felt like they kind of relaxed. That was my issue. And then when it was urgency at the end of the game where you got to make a stop, they turned it back on. So when you get up on teams like this, when guys are young on the other side of the ball, when you get up on them, you got to put your foot on their neck. And I felt like we got comfortable at one point in the game.
Definitely, definitely. I don't really have much different to say with that. I think the pass rush, some young guys stepping up and showing some moxie. Like again, we talked about Kalen Deloach, and and a few others. Um, that was the good. You got guys that you can rely on, and you can continue to build on. Again, the defensive line, I think um, played pretty well. There's that. Then there is so that's the good. The bad, again, situations when you get put in something, even if you don't believe in the play call. And I tell fans that's the reason why we're in the stands and they're on the field. You got to make a play. You got to get yourself when you worked hard to get to third down. You got to get yourself off the field on third down situations, and they're just not. They just didn't do that enough, obviously. In key times, obviously the 30-17 is one of those. But what I will say, the ugly is the big plays like the tight end being wide, not being able to cover the tight end. Them like a guy who is consistently considered a check down shorty and a guy who's not going to beat you with his arm, beat us with his arm, and that's not acceptable to have things like that happen. So that's my takeaways on defense. Obviously, special teams, you cannot miss a field goal. You have one job. You're a running back. Do what you gotta do. What you gotta do. Make that. That should be consistent. That should be automatic. But if it wouldn't be Florida State without having kickers miss kicks in the big games. So
I'm right there with you. Everybody got their different responsibilities, and if it failed us on that, it don't matter about the call. That's his one job. I feel like he may have psyched himself out on that thing, but he can only grow from it. Don't allow this moment to shake you. Continue to grow, continue to build. Look at the film. You do this every single play. You got to go through your details and your routine. Don't change anything up. I felt like after the first play, he got in his head a little bit, and all the fans went, "Oh, why would he ice it?" Man, listen, I'm taking a closer kick every time. I don't even understand what they're talking about on the internet. I'm taking that every time. I just think like he changed up the routine a little bit. He was good on the first one, a little too far to the left, but don't allow this moment to shake you. It's going to be a game later in the season where we need you again.
right. I heard my coach that I coached for, Bob Ramsey, at Manor High School, had a great quote. Don't let this one game turn into you losing 10 or turn into you losing 13. Don't let this one game and how close it was define you. Shake it off. Go out there, and there's always next week. At the end of the day, they're pseudo. They have none of your reach goals have even been taken off the table yet. You still have everything available for you. Go beat up on Jacksonville State next week, and then you go on and you continue to move forward on the season.
Yeah, man, before we get off here, I got to give a special shout out to Trayshawn Ward and Mackenzie Milton. Trayshawn Ward coming from being a walk on to getting big snaps in a big time game and being impactful. He was a bright spot in this game for us. And Milton, man, I can't even tell you what was going on in his mind after overcoming that injury at times. He probably wanted to quit, and to come in there and be resilient like he was, man. Salute to him. It's a good thing to see.
I bet if I'm him, I'd be overwhelmed with emotion right now. Because again, and shout out toughness to him. It's nothing. No, it was. We always wanted the best quarterback to win. Everything I was hearing in camp was about Jordan Travis and how well he was doing. He was on eyes, but you cannot deny that Milton has some moxie. And him coming in that situation really did do well. He showed some tremendous poise. He showed some maturity and leading them down. No matter what the situations may call for, at the end of the day, every defensive play is designed to stop the offense, and every offensive play is designed to score. And what he did was effectively, well, Travis moved between him and Travis on that first drive. They moved that ball down really, really well. Milton finished it. I think the second drive is when he took that man-side shot when the offense. I think they got confused on the twist there, and he threw it to Keyshawn Hilton while he was getting blasted. Got right back up, and then went and did what they needed to do. So I mean, all in all, these guys got to continue to band together, pull themselves up. Whether it's a win or a loss, don't give yourself more than 24 hours to really revel in it, unless it's the championship game, and you ain't got another game for the rest of the season, and then move forward on that, man. So. The biggest thing is if you go look at the internets, the recruits loved it. The crowd was electric. If you weren't in Doak Campbell Stadium, there's something wrong with you. Even if you don't go in there, man, the tailgates everywhere was dope. It was the city was on fire. You got to make sure you come to support these guys, win, lose or draw. These guys are feeding off of that. But bigger than that, these you guys having Doak almost at 100% capacity, being loud the entire for all 5 quarters basically really impressed people and really made people want to take that next step. So, man, the fans were dope. It was great, man. And I can't wait to see what these guys do next week. Again, if you asked me last year, was the team improved? Did they look good? No. They got blown out. They quit. And we still got stupid penalties and stuff like that. But I told people when Mike took the job, Mike Norvell teams were some of the most penalized teams in the nation. It happens. But go look at Alabama. Go look at all the other top schools. Aggressive teams are penalized. Now we gotta. It's about when you get those penalties though. So we can't have false starts and do a lot of other shit. So, and again, I ain't got anything else.
I just want to touch on something you said as far as the recruits. I think this is something that if we continue to keep this momentum over the year, and I know it's a loss, but man, if I'm like I said, if I'm a guy looking back at that game, I'm motivated because that's a game we should have won. And a lot of these recruits that maybe may have been on the fence, they they gonna be they gonna be looking at what Florida State does now. You got one of the top recruits in the country leading the charge and getting a lot of these guys in there. They on the fence. This game woke a few guys up. So don't be surprised if down the line, if we keep this rolling, we make some big noise in the recruiting world.
You're a wide receiver. You're a wide receiver away. A wide receiver or two away. A couple offensive linemen away. Hey man, then that defense is just a playmaker at a lockdown corner. It's not a lot of pieces that they need, man. We just got to keep grinding, keep it together, and see what it is. That's the number one thing, man. Um, and if you again, this is the instant reaction show. We're gonna do this after every game. Just a quick hit and talk about it, get to the point. We'll probably break it down a little bit more on inside drills, and you'll probably hear all kinds of analysis and all these other different things. But right, that's just how we feeling right off the game without really going deep into detail, looking at the plays. So on that note, man, it's late. Y'all go get some sleep, man. Y'all get some sleep. Go barbecue and grill tomorrow. Enjoy time with your family. We'll see you guys later.